Listen, it's not because I've got their stats in front of me. I've got their stats in front of me. I've got their stats in front of me. Let me read it right now. Let me read the stats. Let me read the stats. Let me read the stats right. If you're wondering why we're in different clothes, you get me. Our costume designer on set said we weren't looking swaggy enough in it, so we had to switch it up. So as I'm sure you can understand, these are separate recordings. What we're going to be talking about today is a very interesting topic for the passion. Get me? Love, hate, whatever you want to call it. What I'm going to do right now is I can't even contain it anymore. I'm going to throw it to H, and H will tell us what we're talking about.
Jay, for real, like this segment is sure to be spicy. So we're going to be discussing the artist of the year for 2020. And this is definitely going to be a heated debate. So we've managed to narrow it down to like 3 artists. So without further ado, Moneyman, I just want to get your opinion on who you think the artist of the year was for 2020.
So I've gone with Boldy James.
Okay.
Obviously, unconventional choice because he's not really that mainstream. Released 2 albums and 1 EP this year. None of it charted. But when you look at his last album came out in 2013.
Right.
That was his debut. Since then, he's released 2 EPs in the last 7 years.
Right.
And yeah, look at this album that came out. It's top 50 on like Rolling Stones, Pitchfork, all that sort of stuff. Top 50 albums a year. He got featured on Big Sean's album, which hit #1 on Billboard. Getting a feature on an album like that really increases exposure. He signed with Griselda as well back in like May. I think he's about 39 years old, and they're all like late 30s, early 40s. So feels like he had 7 years where he wasn't really making music. Now he's come back, and it feels like he's found like his contemporaries. He's found like a clique of artists that are around his age, similar sort of grimy East Coast sort of music. I think he's found like his footing within the industry. So where you can see he's working with Alchemist, comes out with an album that's critically acclaimed, comes out with that EP Manager on Mick Nichols, which is also really good. I think it's read a few interviews with him, and he's equaled at his second wave. He said 2 or 3 years ago he wasn't even considering doing music anymore. Linked up with Alchemist last season, and now his career just turned around completely.
Can I ask you a question if you don't mind?
Here we go.
So obviously, word on the street, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing that you appreciate most in music, Pritesh, is authenticity.
Yeah, go on.
So, so with that being said, obviously this is a rapper who obviously released 3 tapes in the space of 7 years.
2 albums in the space of 7 years. He came out with a couple of EPs and mixtapes.
Yeah. So would you say it was a situation where he had to go and experience life? We're not going to say what he experienced, but he had to go and experience life for him to come back better. Is that what you're essentially?
I liked his album in 2013, but he basically said the type of music he was making wasn't popping. He said in the streets there was easy money readily available right there, whereas with music it was just taking too long and he wasn't getting any exposure. So he went back to it.
Okay, so basically he went back to the streets, and you like that he went back to the streets. So for that particular reason, he's on your list. Like not because of the albums, because he went back to the streets. Is that what you're telling me right now? Like,
No, I didn't even know he went back to the streets until I was reading the interview like a few months back. But I think you can see the authenticity come through in his music. Unlike certain other rappers, you definitely see the authenticity come through. So you know, for example, that I've been Freddie Gibbs like going on about him since about 2012, 2013. I'd say he's probably my top artist of all time, if we're being real. And look at my Spotify since about 2014, since I've had it, he's top played artist year after year after year. So it takes something big for me to say like someone else is artist of the year, especially when Freddie Gibbs obviously got nominated for a Grammy, came out with Alfredo, had a good few features on that Pray for Paris on the Conway album. So he's had a big year himself, so it takes a lot for me to say someone else is my artist of the year.
And also, you mentioned that Boldy James was featured on Big Sean's album. As you know, you're a massive Big Sean fan. Also, Freddie Gibbs had a song featured with Big Sean. How come that wasn't listed in your songs of the year?
I didn't like it. I don't like Big Sean. His flow's terrible. His voice is terrible.
Oh, is it? Okay, I just wanted to fit that.
By the way, this is Moneyman's opinion. Anyone that's watching that Def Jam, we don't all think this, innit? This is Moneyman's opinion. So yeah.
Isn't Big Sean sounded good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think he's still like good, isn't he?
But good is under Def Jam.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So Jay,
Bro,
who
listen,
is the artist of
listen.
the year?
At the end of the day, innit, like these guys are gonna come through with some nonsense in it. I know exactly who H's pick is, and I'm ready. I'm ready for combat. I'm ready for fight. I'm ready for fight. But me,
Bro.
my artist of the year, yeah. Let's not even play no games in it. Let's get straight into the numbers in it, because we're in the numbers business. All right.
Okay.
Let's get straight into the numbers.
Okay.
The highest selling artist of the year, bar none. Bar none. There's no cap. It's actual facts. It's actual facts.
No.
It's actual facts.
No.
It's actual facts. What? You don't even know who I'm talking about, though. You don't know who I'm talking about.
Go ahead.
You don't know who I'm talking about. Look at these guys ready to fight. I haven't even said anything. These guys are ready.
Already, guys. He's lying. He's capping already.
Listen,
Here, bro.
guys, I want to put. I just want to put it out there. I asked everyone to take a drug test before we did this, and no one replied to me in it. So I have that in mind when I'm talking in it. But not only is this artist the highest selling male artist of the year, number one.
Mel.
Oh wait, hold on. Can I finish what I'm saying? Can I finish what I'm saying?
Go.
No, listen, this unruly court, bruv. Listen, not only is this guy the highest selling male artist of the year, yeah.
Okay.
This guy, he essentially, we could say his rise to stardom was expected but unexpected at the same time. He got a particular Drake stimulus package, and ever since then, he hasn't gone backwards.
Things have been going up, innit?
He's just been going up. I guess you could say yes, indeed. He's been going upwards. You feel me? And you cannot even talk about the year without talking about a particular baby. You feel me? And I'm not talking about the baby. I'm talking about little baby right there, fam. Little baby. You feel
Why
me?
little baby?
Bro, for me, obviously, these men know me. My music taste is quite diverse. My music taste is quite, I listen to everything. But he's undeniable this year. He's sold a lot. He's been on the charts. He's done a lot of features. The year was his. I feel like if Corona wasn't popping, the year would have been bigger and stronger for him. He did a lot in a short period of time. And you have to bear in mind, like, he's doing this on QC. And let's be real, QC isn't the same as it was when they were under the Migos, okay? And I say this to say, in terms of popularity, Little Baby, I'ma be real. This is my opinion. You get me? So what I have to say. He's holding them up.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, at the moment, he's holding them up on his back. You feel me?
Oh, who else they got? I saw they got another heavy. Don't they?
They've got girls. They've got City Girls. They've got.
Oh yeah.
I think they've got Lil Yachty as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a few heavy hitters, but I'm talking about in sales, isn't it? Because
Are you sure you're right about him being number one?
Yeah, number one, bro. Number one. You can check it out.
Male artists or artists in general.
Can I talk in it? Because I feel like a lot of interruptions is happening right
now.
now.
I'm seeing different results here.
The thing is, if you're looking at chartstory.org, how can you trust those sources, bruv? These guys are reading the Daily Mail trying to take it as a bruv. Listen, let me tell you, man, something, yeah. Right now.
There's chinks in your armor, bro.
Listen, there's no chinks in my armor. Listen, there's no simping in my pimping. Listen to me as I talk.
Only pimping, innit?
You feel me? Only pimping, bro. Iceberg Slim, R.I.P. Let me tell you, man, something, yeah.
Alright, cool.
Not only was he the highest selling male artist of the year, yeah. Not only that, yeah. This guy came out with one of the most conscious records of the year, The Bigger Picture. We didn't expect that from him. We didn't expect that from Lil Baby.
It's a good record. I can't lie. When you showed me to, I was pleasantly surprised because I'm not the biggest fan of him, but that was very the perspective he had on that record as well. And he's
wait, Kev. I saw you said you didn't like the record.
No. I like that record. 100% like the record. I'm not big.
You didn't like his album, yeah.
I didn't like his album. I didn't like any of his single that he released. But that song was from an artist and considering commercially what he's done. And for him to do it, especially for him to speak about those things that well, I was like, hold on, I was surprised of how nuanced that record actually was for the type of artist he is.
Kev, I've got a question for that. Do you think then the music he makes most of the time, he's just making to be commercially successful rather than making his best quality music? Yeah.
I feel you can argue, you can argue maybe he is used. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you have to think an artist of his caliber, he's not going to be dropping conscious records every day. You feel me? That's not what he's there for. He's there to drop those. Listen, hustle, get your money. This is how I got my money. I'm balling. He's there to make that type of music. He's there to make bangers. He's not there to do super loopy lyrical raps. You feel me?
You think he's capable of that though?
I think he is. Like, obviously, if you listen to the bigger picture, I wouldn't even say that's lyrical, but I would say conscious. I thought he's very,
100%
very capable of conscious music. And not only that, bruv, you see, this is why you guys are talking. You even made me forget one of my heavy hitter facts, bruv. What was I gonna listen? What I was gonna say, yeah. And I feel like for artists of the year, yeah, one of the most important things about being the artist of the year is being present. You get me? Like certain artists only dropped like what in the last quarter of the year. You get me? How can you be artist of the year when you weren't here? You feel me? I know you're not here.
Listen, Jay, I know you're not talking about my artist of the year because
I don't know what
artist of the year was active.
Listen, at the end of the day, like for me, it's Little Baby in it. But let me throw it to H. You get me? Let me see what these men are saying.
So listen, this is the moment that you guys have been waiting for, yeah.
Cat.
All that riff-raffing that Pritesh and Jarvis was doing, like. Now, obviously, we're gonna come to the creme de la creme.
Big cat.
And I just need to mention this as well. Me and Kevin both picked this artist, so we are both gonna explain why we think this artist is the artist of the year for 2020. But before I get into all of that, I just want to read you some of her stats for the year. Just some. I'm not gonna read you all because it's just unfair, innit? You get it? Like, it's just, she just destroyed the whole fucking year, innit? You get it? Like, cool. So she had 2 #1 albums in 1 year. Did you hear that, guys? Yeah.
Do you mean 1 year is in 2012 or 1 year is one calendar year?
2020.
Yeah.
So she released 2 albums last year, and both of them got to #1. She had 2 #1 singles on each of those albums. Universal acclaim for both albums. She became the first woman in US music history, to amass 8 consecutive #1 debuts on Billboard. Wow. She also became the first artist to simultaneously debut at #1 on both the album and singles charts in 1 year. So the first album that she released in 2020, which was called Folklore. So obviously I'm giving it away already, but yeah. So the first album she released during, I think, the earlier part of 2020 was the big best-selling album of 2020 worldwide. It had the biggest opening day on Spotify for any female artist. Okay. I mean, the facts are here, bro. I mean, do you want me to put them on screen?
That's okay. Keep reading.
Yeah. Okay. Many music publications placed the album as #1 on their best album of 2020 list. It tried at #1 in multiple countries, including the UK and the US. All 16 songs on the album tried on the Billboard Hot 100, and the lead single Cardigan peaked at #1 on the Billboard Singles Chart. And then the second album, called Evermore, that she released in December of last year, the lead single of that album was Willow. That also peaked at #1 on Billboard. All 15 songs on the album tried in various countries. The album debuted at #1 in various countries, and also ended up in many music publications' best album list for 2020.
Yeah.
To be honest, none of that surprises me. That's sort of what you'd expect from Taylor Swift.
Again, yeah. Obviously, yeah. Before you go, Kevin, listen, I'm gonna need all my Swifties, yeah? Ban the comment section right now, yeah? Let your presence be known, yeah? Let your presence be fucking known. All right, go on, Kate.
Yeah, commercially, like Pete Ash is saying, 100% agree. None of it surprised. Like, this woman is a commercial juggernaut, and she's been that, I think, ever since she began. You know, she is just supported by this heavy machine. But for me, what made me like what she released this year is just the music. I mean, I can't lie. Like, the album she released in 2019, she released Lover. I think that's the name of the album that's called. And that was a very good album. That also was part of my list as well. And this year, and considering like the circumstances that we're in as well, the type of big name artist that she was as well, to then decide to release an album that was more introspective, that was more folk rock. And I actually a person who likes folk music, and the records themselves are just very beautiful, introspective, they're poignant, and they're very much different from the records like Lover as well. It felt like for me, this is an artist that has stepped up. You get me? Like, normally before Lover used to be just pop records that I just couldn't care for, and you know, I never previously ever had any of the album in my top list, and I didn't care to listen to much of the albums. But Folklore for me, yeah, it really was like, yo, fam, you need to listen. Like, this woman, she is actually pushing herself, and it's amazing to see, and we want to see more of that.
Yeah, just bouncing off of what Kate is saying.
I never really cared for Taylor Swift before she released this Folklore album. I never even liked her as an artist because I just thought she was just making generic pop music, and I don't really care for that. So I never really paid attention to Taylor Swift. But she definitely surprised me with this album, or with both of the albums that she released last year, because it was like a whole new direction, and a whole new sound. Yeah, and I can't lie. When I first listened to the Folklore album, I think Kay, you're the one that sort of put me on the album. I was proper apprehensive because I was like, Taylor Swift. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean.
But her Lover tape, like you heard Lover as well.
Yeah.
I
thought the Lover album was decent. Yeah, I thought that was decent. That was, I think, the first time I said to myself, do you know what? She has some decent music on this album. You get it? So after I listened to that album, I was like, do you know what? Even though I'm not really into Taylor Swift, I am gonna pay attention to when she releases her next project, because I feel like maybe she is turning the corner. And yeah, again, when I did listen to this Folklore album for the first time, I was pleasantly surprised. And I was like to myself, so where's this Taylor Swift been? It's taken you 7 or 8 albums to get to this point. You know? But it's not how you start, it's how you finish, innit? So,
Yeah.
You get it, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So if she continues on this trend, then Taylor Swift is going to become one of my favorite artists. But
Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, she did a thing. She did a thing on both of these albums. And yeah, I give it up to her, man.
Artist of the year, no way, fam. No way she artist of the year. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Stop the cap 2021. Stop the cap. You're talking about artist of the year. She was here for 2 months. You're talking about artist of the year. What kind of nonsense is this, bro?
3 months. I think when then the folk.
Bro, she released 2 albums in 1 year. She was.
What does that mean? That's not 1 year. She dropped 2 albums, yeah, in a space of 4 months. How's that a year? Artist of the year. Get out of here, man. Get out of here, bro. Artist of the year, bro. What? So if a player bangs football, yeah, and listen, it's not because I've got their stats in front of me. I've got their stats in front of me. Let me read it right now. Let me read the stats. Let me read the stats. Yeah, Folklore sold 2.204 million units. Yeah, that's how much she sold. Yeah, Folklore. Okay, we got to bear in mind. I'll give it to her. This was in a short period of time, but she sold that. Number 2 of the year. Number 1, Lil Baby, My Turn. Yeah, that sold 2.6. Yeah,
I think for me, it's not even about the numbers. It's just the quality of music, and I think for me, Lil Baby has not.
Kevin, can I ask you?
The albums, this. These are not classic hip hop albums. It's not even good hip hop albums.
Let me ask Kevin. Wait, hold on. Let me ask Kevin something. You can jump on me, fam. Let me ask him something real quick. All right, cool. So if a player is banging for let's say 3 months out of the year, let's say from August to October, do they deserve to be player of the year?
But that analogy doesn't work for me.
Yes or no?
That analogy doesn't work for music.
Yes or bruv, what I'm saying, how can you be considered artist of the year when you're not even here? How does that make sense?
How does
that make sense? How is he active?
Active. All right, Jay, let me ask you a question. Wait. How many number 1 singles did Lil Baby have last year?
What, last year?
Yeah.
Bruv, come on. Bruv, what are you talking about, number 1 singles? What kind of nonsense is that?
Hold on. Bro.
How many number 1 singles did the Baby have? What is the sky blue? What are you talking about?
Taylor Swift had 2 number 1 singles and 2 number 1 albums. Tell me.
Her music's more accessible.
Exactly.
It's got a wider sort of audience base.
Exactly.
The thing is, you can only be as successful as your audience.
Henry is pitting the white woman against the black man. And listen, I'm not standing for it. I'm not standing for it.
Where's the finger when you need him?
I'm not standing when you need him. Listen, Dr. Umar Johnson will be rolling in it. Bro, don't let me talk, bro. Let me tell you something, yeah? I see what you're talking. Let's be real, yeah? You got to bear in mind, yeah? Taylor Swift, as you said before, has years behind her belt, fam. And you can't act like she doesn't sell these numbers. These are regular numbers for her.
Yeah, I mean...
regular.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, we're talking about artists of the year. What does
Yeah, I
like
think-
her being active for, you know, for 6, 7, 8 years?
What it means is you're talking about these like, oh, she hit #1 and she sold this many albums and whatever it is, like it's brand new. We're talking about artists like the Baby that none of us expected to do this, fam. Taylor Swift, there's a certain level of expectation there.
Yeah, I mean commercial.
Yeah,
I mean
okay.
100% commercially. Sorry
No,
to cut you off.
but no, commercially, but I'm even talking about because notoriously she's a good songwriter. Like everyone knows. Her,
I
that
mean,
she's a
what I
songwriter.
mean, the thing is about Taylor Swift. I mean, for me, I feel like we love her onwards to now. She's
Yeah,
writing.
she wasn't known as a great songwriter until these.
Yeah.
No, yeah, she guys,
She
guys,
wasn't, bro.
guys, dude,
She
bruv,
wasn't,
real
bro.
talk. From her album, I think it's
Do
1980.
you hear the type of
Yeah,
music she was producing before, fam?
1990 had that
Yeah.
do. No. But I mean, those are. I don't feel like those are great pop.
Yeah, remember,
bro,
Max Martin wrote most of her biggest commercial hits.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Max Martin for me is
Exactly. So what are you talking about?
But
here?
you need to bear in mind, yeah, bro. Like you said, these man told me to do research before, fam. You man haven't done the research, fam. The majority of her albums are critically acclaimed, fam.
no. I think
No.
I think only
No.
90. I think only 1989 possibly. But I'm not gonna lie.
Red.
I'm not a big fan of that album at all.
I think Red in 1989.
Yeah. I mean,
they were critically acclaimed before these.
And then she dropped
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
one. How many albums in between that? Like one.
I think for me,
Exactly.
Sorry. I mean, we're going back that criteria, and I think for me, Taylor Swift fits that in terms of the quality.
Yeah, in terms of progression, yeah.
But not commercial. Commercially, she is going to do numbers, no, 100%. But in terms of the quality,
You guys are talking about quality. You're talking about
also the
quality.
quality
Like she's
of
never.
the album as a whole, like great records after great records, not like before, maybe patchy here and there, a couple of good songs, and then the rest you can just throw away. No, this is a full-blown project that's got great music.
This was a new direction for Taylor. This was a new direction and sound for Taylor.
So you've never heard
Yeah,
her make
as well,
folk.
that as well, yeah.
How can you say that when you man don't listen to her?
No, we do. We have listened to
Bro, Henry said word for word he wasn't a fan of her before. He didn't listen to her.
No,
And then-
he mean like, he wasn't a fan because he'd heard some of the stuff that she's heard.
Yes.
But it's
Bro.
not. It wasn't of quality.
But I did say that she was making that generic pop music that I wasn't interested in.
You were
So
saying
I
that.
heard some Taylor Swift before, but I wasn't feeling it.
So
Yeah.
when, so can I ask you something? So when she had like Red, we spoke about, I think 1987. When both of them were critically acclaimed, do you think they were wrongly critically acclaimed?
I think they only got added to Rolling Stone 500 Greatest List, but that's all. That's all propaganda. That's all again.
How is it propaganda? You calling the critics propaganda?
No. Let me.
He's trying to start some shit now.
No. If you look at the ratings, Metacritic, I think highest that those albums occurred during that point of time. Each of the albums was like 71 or 72. That's not that high. That's not My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Even like what's it called, Freddie Gibbs, Mad Libs tape. That's not even that high. So that for me, it's not even a great overall around.
Like this album is indie / alternative rock. She's never embarked on this sound before, Jay.
Yeah,
I'm trying to say.
a couple of spots here and there.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's progressive. We
I
haven't
think
heard this Taylor
the
Swift
quality,
before.
the quality for me is that's why she's on my list.
Yeah, we haven't
Quality
heard
by
this
herself.
side.
She doesn't do those numbers, but quality is why she's on my. That's why she's my favorite.
So you guys
We haven't
basically
heard this side of Taylor Swift before, bro.
you prefer Taylor than Kanye. I understand. These men are trying to tear down the loyal social black man right in front of our eyes, fam. I've never seen something so disgraceful in my
But
face.
he's fighting the system, fam, every day United, fam.
Listen, Little Baby is fighting for his life right now, and these guys are talking about Taylor Swift, fam. I'm done with these, fam.